It's now been 2 weeks since I picked up my iPhone 16 Pro from the Apple Store. Oh, wait a minute. Since I picked up my iPhone 16 Pro from the Apple Store, and within 24 hours of picking it up, I took it on a trip to Amsterdam to test it out. Now, there are already a million reviews of this phone on YouTube already. I've watched a bunch, and I have to say most of them have been lukewarm at best. But I'm not gonna hide my enthusiasm for one feature which I think it's a game changer. And it's not the camera control. Big hint in the intro. See you in a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So if you saw the intro and guessed that the big game changer on the 16 Pro is photography, then you're absolutely spot on. The iPhone 16 Pro has had some big hardware upgrades to the camera system, but the bigger change and the more important change is how the phone processes the photos that you take. Okay, just think about this. You know how MKBHD has his blind smartphone photo comparison every year? I'm curious how he's going to do this with the iPhone this year, because photographic control is so built into taking photos with the iPhone that there's no such thing as straight out of the camera anymore. I mean, there is if you want that, but for most people it's going to be hard not to play with those controls. Users are even taking through a process of creating a custom look that personalizes every photo that you take to your own taste. No more over-processed or under-processed gunk coming out of your phones. No more depending on the phone maker to decide how your photo is processed according to some arbitrary what people might like that's trending right now. Now, acting as a powerful sidekick to the photographic effect is the depth effect. Now, I know this has been around for some time, but it's been improved upon so much over the years that I can't even tell the difference between portrait photos with the iPhone and portrait photos taken with this big camera that I'm recording on right now. In fact, in some cases, I think the fake bokeh looks better than the real one. So at this point, I just take every picture in portrait mode with the depth information saved so I can manipulate it later and decide if I want or how much of the portrait effect I want to apply later on. I've never been so busy on the flight back home before, spending all the time just editing my photos, adjusting the depth, adjusting the color, the exposure and all of that to make it just how I wanted. So while I chat, let's take a look at some of the photos I took in Amsterdam to see what I mean. I don't know about you guys, but when I take a photo, I want to capture and remember a moment, yes. But I don't just want to go around duplicating reality like a photocopying machine. I think photography is as much about capturing a moment as conveying your feelings and emotions that moment manifested in you. So maybe you were feeling happy, sad, dreamy, high on marijuana or whatever. I want my photos to convey that. And that's why sites like Instagram became so popular. The one thing I remember from the early days of Instagram was the filters. That's what got everybody into Instagram. Everybody wanted to use the filters to change up their photos quickly and easily. Back in the day when phone quality wasn't even that good. So you had to do something, which with Instagram you could easily make them look a little bit extra with not much effort. And that continues today. Like, one of the main draws of Snapchat and TikTok and so on is the filters that you can add to fancy up your photos and videos. And most important, you can do them without any training, without buying some app on the App Store, and most of all, without having to pay Adobe for a subscription for Lightroom. When I had the iPhone 15 Pro, I was already contemplating giving up taking my big camera on holidays and just taking my iPhone. The last place that I went with both my phone and my big camera was Japan, and that just cemented for me how much better phone photography has come. And now I don't think I'm taking my big camera on holiday anywhere ever again. It's going to stay at home for professional use, which is what these big cameras are really meant for. Having said all this, there are some ways that it can be improved still. Firstly, I'd like to save my own presets in the Photos app. Right now, if you want to use the same settings on multiple images, like if you took 4 or 5 images that are nearly the same and you know the same filter will work, you have to go and copy and paste the settings from one photo to another. I'd like to save presets so I can just very quickly find the preset in my photographic style, files and just apply that to whatever photo I'm looking at right now. It's kind of like how Snapseed does it. If any of you have used Snapseed, you can save presets and then it kind of stays below as a thumbnail. You can go very quickly apply a preset to a photo. That's going to save so much time. The iPhone 16 also gives you the option of saving photos in HEIF Max instead of RAW. If you didn't know, HEIF is a more modern image compression format which gives a lot of advantages over old school JPEGs. With HEIF, you get a much better picture quality and you get a much smaller file size as well, saving you on storage space. So what about RAW shooting then? RAW files are large, they're clunky, and then you require some kind of development software for turning them into something that looks good. And who has time for that?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Don't use RAW. If you find yourself wanting to use RAW, it's probably time to buy a big camera. Now you do get 4K 120 video, and while I don't have much use for that myself, I have used it in the past on my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that takes amazing 4K 120 video. And I have a link to that down below. That came out amazing. Perhaps I'll use 4K 120 more in my B-roll from now on. In fact, some of the B-roll in this video is probably going to be 4K 120 because I'm going to shoot B-roll next after talking to the camera. The iPhone also has ProRes video recording and it's had that for a while, but my advice about ProRes is similar to RAW. ProRes files are huge. They require color grading, which is not easy. I've been trying for years to learn color grading. So just don't kid yourself. If you think you need to use ProRes, you're using the wrong gear. You're probably a professional. You also need to buy a proper camera and high performance computer to process all those ProRes files. The iPhone 16 also has Pro mics, they call it, and I haven't tried it myself, but I've seen people's demonstration. I think it's a really good feature. Again, it's not something you're going to use for filmmaking. No real filmmaker is going to use that. But if it's just you and your friends and you want to make a quick video or a quick video for social media, then yeah, sure, it's going to be excellent. But don't really use that for pro work. There are better options out there for not a lot of money. So that's it for my review of the iPhone 16 Pro for now. I'll be making other videos in the future, obviously, but I hope you got something from that you didn't get from the millions of other iPhone 16 Pro reviews on YouTube right now. I'm sure I'll be getting loads more cases to try out, so if you want to see that, be sure to hit like and subscribe. Now, if you think this video missed out anything that you were interested to know, hit me up in the comments and I'll try to answer. Of course, this review is based on my personal experience, so my review is going to be different from everyone else's for that reason. Remember, this video is sponsored by you liking and subscribing, so please go ahead and do that. It really helps me out a lot. And lastly, check out www.vinesography.com. You'll see that I have a couple things for sale. It's not much, but it looks nice. I'll get a couple dollars if you decide to buy anything. Actually, I have one print that's really nice, one in particular. Go check that out, you might like it. Until next time, click one of the videos up here. YouTube thinks that's something that you will be interested in. So until the next one, bye for now.
Oh.